Welcome back to USF 2000 AI League Season 4 here at Race 8 at Lucas Oil Raceway. We're currently undergo for qualifying. It's a very small track, so very short qualifying times. Car's going to be going around here. You're going to have to try and find a good open piece of track ahead of you so you can get some good laps in. So I think Maborowski going out first will actually be ahead of the game by going out early, set to 22.0. That is the baseline time to beat now. You can see the 20 way on the outside. It's trying to hug it. So now 21.551 is the time to beat. And still going faster with yet another pink sector for the first two turns. Is now to 21.198, and that is now the time to beat. We'll see if anyone can get close to that. As the 20 going fast yet again. Probably getting a draft off the car in front. A 20.939 is now the time to beat. Just the 20 keeps going faster and faster. Up 4/10 on the car behind. Now Rogero Espinel moves to second. As Tetsu gets really close, only about 300ths off. The 20 goes faster again with a 20.716. That 20 is currently hooked up in qualifying. Lots of time still left. Anything can happen. The 9's now going to have to slow down because of slow cars ahead, as now Chad Broski goes P1 with a 20.683. That is now the time to beat. As now Tetsu goes faster with a 20.637. As Chad Broski turns yet another good lap. That will no doubt put him on top with a 20.503, about a 10th up on Tetsu, but Rogero Espinel goes second. As Maborowski gets closer to the top once again, goes to second. It's going to be a very competitive race, very small track, so a lot of lap traffic will be in the way. 20's currently got open road, the 84 just had to deal with some lap traffic. I don't think his lap will be faster, neither will the 20's. Qualifying thing at the bottom is being a little bit glitchy. We'll try and fix that. As Kirishima goes second, only about 7 thousandths off the top time, which is currently a 20.334. Gus Fring now goes first with a 20.236, but now is currently in lap traffic, so he won't be able to really get that time up. Now Chad Broski goes faster once again with 20.141. Gus Fring improved his time, but not good enough. He's about 800ths off. All 25 cars have set a lap time so far. We have about 4 minutes left in qualifying, everyone within a second. As Phil Slow goes third, jumps up into the top three. Very nice with a 20.269. Gus Fring and Eliza Doe go faster, V83. In a little bit of traffic right now as Missing Sock had a good first sector, but the second sector wasn't as good. He only go 13th as Befavor shoots up to third. Only about 900ths off the top time. As Chad Broski goes faster once again, but Phil Slow not too far behind. Only back by about 600ths. As Gus Fring goes second once again, this time exactly 200ths off the top time. Phil Slow now shoots to first with a 20.115. That will now put him ahead by about 200ths. We're gonna see he improves once again. Just barely. Spring Roll's gonna shoot up to fourth with a very good lap time, but he's about a 10th off the fastest lap. Got open road ahead. Phil Slow is in a little bit of traffic right now, but overall it's pretty fine for him. You can see the car is definitely going on the outside line, trying to get some speed up there. As it's working pretty well. Phil Slow way down on the inside. I don't know why he's all the way down there. Chad Broski. A lot of cars in pit road right now. Spring Roll is still out there on his own. So a lot of cars currently in pit road or coming to pit road. Spring Roll is slowing down, so he will come in. Phil Slow currently still on top. Not a lot of movement throughout the rest of the field now. But yeah, current time to beat 20.066, as we still don't have a lot of time left. And most cars are in pit lane right now, so we're gonna have to see if anyone currently on track can improve. See Spencer Alfredo slowing down, so he's pretty much done. As that is it for qualifying. Nobody really seems to be going faster. So Phil Slow has gotten on pole with a very nice time. As he's already despawned. Chad Broski's going to be on the outside of row 1. So he's got some work to do, but definitely possible. So now we take a look at your starting lineup. "125 laps ahead of us. Phil Slow gonna be on the pole with a very nice time. Up by about 7/10ths on Chad Broski. Gus Fring and Spring Roll are in row 2 together. That's gonna be Befavor and Chris in row 3. I think that's Befavor's best qualifying effort so far this season. Row 4 is Karishima and Eliza Doe. Karishima's actually been moving up throughout the point standings, had a couple good races back to back. Row 5, John Panini and Beijing Beef. Beijing Beef, one of your title contenders as of now. Also, I looked over this, but in row 3, There is Chris as your defending race winner and uh, your championship leader. In row 6, you have Spencer Alfredo and Rogero Espinel. And then back in row 7, you got David Lois and Saul Goodman. Row 8 is Diogo Sebastio and OxyClean. Row 9 is Tetsu and Wine Silliman. Row 10 is Missing Sock and Sussus Amogus. As then we go back to row 11, another title contender right here, Max Cold, and then Jacques Croissant. And then all the way back in row 12, you find May Borowski, who we saw very strong early in qualifying, just did not have the pace later on. About 3/10 off the fastest time, but yet that puts you 23rd. 24th for Sun, then rounding out the field, Mahavir Raghunathan. So everyone under 8/10 of the leader in qualifying, so that's very close. Let's take a look at your race info so far. Um, it's only 2/3 of a mile around this track, so it's very quick. This is the 8th race of the season. Only 69 degrees. It's very cool going into the night already. Um, Track temp also isn't that hot. It is partly cloudy, and then wind speed pretty low. And then no previous winners here. This is the first race at this track. Brand new to the calendar. Now let's take a look at your championship standings coming in. So Chris is your championship leader, up by about 25 points over Max Cold. Then it's Beijing Beef. Spring Roll's done really well the last couple races. I think it was 2 back-to-back second places, 3 back-to-back podiums. Gus Fring in 5th. 6th is Eliza Doe. Then it's Phil Slow, Tetsu, Saul Goodman, John Panini, Missing Sock, OxyClean, David Lois, Karishima, Spencer Alfredo, Chad Broski, Wine Sillyman, The Father, and then near the end of your current championship standings, Jack Croissant, Diogo Sebastio, The Sun, May Borowski, Sussus Amogus, who had a very rough Red Bull ring. Rogero Espinel also just trying to catch up after joining late. Same with Diogo Sebastian and Mahavir Raghunathan, who's done pretty well on the oval, so could be his night tonight, but he's starting all the way in last, so he's got some work to do. And then your team standings, Vasily Snorters still have a very strong lead, about 26 points over Spring Speed. Silly Snorters is Chris, Spring Speed is Beijing Beef, and Spring Roll. That's Team YouTube in 3rd, Los Polos Hermanos in 4th, The Graveyard 5th, The Magenta Saucies in 6th, Flat Earthers in 7th, Laundry Boys in 8th, BFL Racing in 9th, La Vitesse in 10th, The Italian Mob in 11th, Ruo Dom Sebastio Racing Foot is 12th, 13th is Team RAS, and then Raghunathan Racing is in last. About 30 seconds until we go green. It's going to be a very intense race, 125 laps. So it's going to be a pretty long, well, it's going to be about a normal sized race, but we'll go a lot of laps. That's a lot of turns. So now the cars are getting ready to head off. Predictions before the race, I think they'll do 2 pace laps, by the way. But some quick predictions. I think Phil Slow could maybe get a win. He's gonna be in a good spot at the start, but I feel like Chad Broski's definitely gonna go for it. He was up there in qualifying a lot of the time. So we're gonna have to see what happens there. As yeah, we will go another time just because of the short track. It's gonna be 2 pace laps. Feel like someone who's gonna need to really charge throughout the field. Max Cold all the way down in 21st. So he's got a lot of work to do ahead of him if he wants to be able to go for this championship, especially going into Indy next week. So now onto the backstretch for the second time. Pace car is going to get ready to pull off. Pace car pulls off. Now here we go through 3 and 4. Phil Slow already going. He jumps early. As green flag is out, we are underway here at Lucas Oil Raceway. Chad Broski already trying to defend his position. Gus Fring holding well on the inside. Chad Broski just going to have to back out as Spring Roll's now going to dive to that inside. He's going to try and go for it. Gonna have to see if the inside or outside is better. The outside seemed to be better in qualifying. But what about during the race? Spring Roll not really able to hold on. Gets beaten pretty good on the straights. Gus Fring pulled the fastest lap right there. As now Spring Roll's just gotten ahead. As they go into 3 and 4. Ooh, got very close right there. Mahavir doing a been off the back of the grid already. Fastest lap by Beijing Beef, up 3 spots since the start. As now Spring Roll's going to be chasing down Gus Fring. Also having to deal with Chad Broski right behind in 4th. Beijing Beef sets another fastest lap, currently up 4 spots. So really big moves from that car as Chad Broski's going to try and go to the inside to retake 3rd position. Still Slow trying to get away from the grid. Chad Broski sets the fastest lap now with a 20.118. Every fastest lap is an extra point, so each lap does matter. Spring Roll tries to make a look for second as Phil Slow. Now just over 5 tenths up, now just under 5 tenths up. So it's going to be a close one. Chris now sets a fastest lap with a 20.091 as Spring Roll's now looking for second place. Just getting underneath the 83. Gonna have to try and push him up as now they charge to the line. Gus Fring just barely ahead on that lap. But now Spring Roll starting to pull away through the turns. As now he will almost clear Gus Fring, but now he does. But the 83 is not done, he's going to try and fight back. Spring Roll set his fastest lap as Sebastio set the fastest lap with 20.076. So now Spring Roll has gotten ahead of Gus Fring as now Chad Broski trying to fight Gus Fring. The 83 dropping back could lose 2 spots very quickly. As now the 83 trying to hold off the 0. Current championship leader is now Chad Broski trying to dive to the inside of Spring Roll as Phil Slow is just slowly going away. Chad Broski just trying to fight back. get back to that second place spot if he wants to try and make a play for the lead later on. Right now, Spring Roll's holding very well on that outside. Could be 3 second place finishes in a row for Spring Roll, as now Broski has to back off and now is trying to fight Gus Fring through turn 4 back onto the front stretch. '84 just struggling to keep up now, as the '83 has gone by once again, as now Chad Broski could be in trouble with the 0 of Chris, who just gets him at the line for 4th place on that lap. Free wide, almost coming out of turn 4. Been clean so far, but how long can they keep it that way? Spring Roll struggling to keep up with the leader is now Chris into 3rd place. As Beijing Beef just going through the middle, down the backstretch. As now Beijing Beef moves into 4th. Up 6 spots since the start. As now Chad Broski still trying to hold on from Gus Fring as he almost tries to look to the inside of Beijing Beef, but had to reconsider. Now the father is right there in 7th. Gonna see what he can do. And now Chris battling Spring Roll for 2nd. Quick drag race to the line. It's just going to be Spring Roll just ahead on that lap. As Phil Slow is almost up by a 2nd now. A big run onto the backstretch for Spring Roll gets him just ahead. As Beijing Beef still trying to hold off Chad Broski. Now Broski's going to have to drop back and continue fighting that 83. Beijing Beef, if he can get by the 0 of output, the team in a good position as well. Because Spring Roll and Beijing Beef are teammates. But now Chad Broski fighting to the inside. Gonna try and fight back. While that's going on, Beijing Beef still hunting down Chris as they are side by side for 5th. Gonna be a very close race right up here. Gus Fring going around the outside. Gets clear of Chad Broski and now gets clear of Beijing Beef almost, but Beijing Beef just beats him into the turn. Now Chad Broski gonna try and look to make it pretty wide as Chris now trying to get by Spring Roll for 2nd. Spring Roll just beats Chris to the line. He's now back through 1 and 2. Phil Slow just keeping a steady gap from these cars. It's now over 1 second. It's behind the battle for 4th. These two have been about even this whole race. Just neither of them have really been able to just completely get rid of the other car. They always keep fighting back. As now lap traffic, you see Mahavir Raghunathan getting lapped by these cars up front. but they both get by fairly well, at least for these two. But now that gives Chris the opportunity to try and go to the inside. Door was open, but just didn't go for it. Phil Slow now almost up by 1.5 seconds. Really benefited off the lap traffic. Side by side to the line for second. While they're battling, this gives Phil Slow the opportunity to get away as Chris just gets ahead through turn 2. Still side by side as they go through 3 and 4. Spring Roll's got to fight back on the outside to have a chance. Spring Roll just gets ahead once again. Spring Roll's been holding off the 0 very well. Back side by side once again. This track very much makes it to where you really have to fight for your position. Just still side by side. Will Spring Roll get a run on the outside coming to the line? Chris just ahead there. Phil Slow almost up by 2 seconds now. So it is looking good for him. Spring Roll just ahead coming through 3 and 4. Now has cleared him. How long will that stay? As the battle for 4th is still going on. Second through 6 has been shifting all day. So we're starting to get into the night part of this race. As now Chris on the outside. Let's see how the outside works for the 0. Spring Roll just working that inside very well through the turns. Chris fighting back on the outside on the straights. It's gonna be very close to the line. Spring Roll just ahead. As now they reach turn 1, Chris now ahead. Now Spring Roll right back there. Chris now just ahead that lap. Still side by side. It's about even now. As Chris now has cleared Spring Roll for second. We're gonna have to see if Spring Roll will be able to catch up later. Battle for 6th is going on between Beijing Beef and Saul Goodman in the 60. As Phil Slow's got some lap traffic up ahead to deal with. That is the 45 of Jacques Croissant. Right up the road from him. You can see him going into turn 1. Just gonna have to see how that will affect the race. Spring Roll losing a little bit of ground to Chris. Now Chad Broski trying to fight with Gus Fring again. Phil Slow now fighting the 45. Gonna see how fast he can get by. Because right now he's losing some time just trying to fight this car. Now he goes by. Definitely still some side-by-side battles throughout the field, but the cars are now starting to become more strung out. Takes you all the way back to 9th to when you can get a side-by-side battle again. This is between Spencer Alfredo and Diogo Spasio. You see David Villalois, or sorry, Eliza Doe, right back there. A long while still left in this race. Still slow. Still coming up on more lap traffic. Then we're gonna have to see how the lap traffic affects Chris and Spring Roll, as they're coming up on Jack Croissant while Phil Slow's coming up on the Sun. Caught up to the 45. And now gonna have to try and go by. Will Spring Roll be able to follow just as easily? Yes, it seems like Chris had to open the door, and Spring Roll just kind of went through. Battle still goes on between these two. None of them willing to give up just yet. This battle could possibly last us the whole race. Still battling for second, as now we look back here, we see teammates battling side by side. That is Gus Fring and Saul Goodman. Beijing Beef now gonna try and go to the inside there. Back up towards the front, Spring Roll has caught Chris again with lap traffic pretty wide. Chris on the middle. I don't know how the middles work, but Spring Roll gonna be way on the inside as the Sun. Lap traffic way on the outside. It's gonna be close coming out of turn 4. This just suddenly started to happen. Spring Roll and Chris battling hard as they get by the 14. But Spring Roll still battles with the 0. As now things have sorted themselves out, Chris now just back ahead. Phil Slow has lapped Mahavir Raghunathan twice now as this group is starting to catch him. As now they both get by fairly easily. 60 and the 83. Very close together. Teammates. Saul Goodman and Gus Fring. Their team is currently 4th in the championship. We are coming up on the halfway point in this race. Saul Goodman had to back off, and now Beijing Beef has fought back. Trying to gain his position back. Saul Goodman currently biggest mover in the race, up 8 spots since the start. Started all the way back in 14th and has made it up to 6th. The thing's going well for him. As now Beijing Beef, however, just gets by using Mahavir Raghunathan. As now Beijing Beef cuts that down to 7, but Saul Goodman still biggest mover in this race so far. As he's still trying to get by Mahavir Raghunathan, but finally does. Battle at the front for second still goes on. About 2/10 separate the two. Spring Roll gonna try and go back to back. That'd be 3 in a row second places. I don't know if he'll be able to catch Phil Slow, but there is still pit stops to worry about, and that can definitely shake up the race. Just one slow stop can mess up everything. So although Phil Slow's gotten away really good so far, it can go away in an instant. Now side by side, Spring Roll gets by really easily through the turns as he cleared Chris really nicely. It seemed like he had been planning that for laps and it just all went right, but Chris isn't done yet, coming on the outside. Spring Roll should have blocked that off, but let him through. but easily will clear him through the turns. As now Spring Roll goes back to second. Just like that, but Chris is not done. Won't settle for third. Spring Roll now just ahead, about 3 attempts. Gonna have to keep watching this and see if it will flip again. Spring Roll's got a 2.2 second gap ahead of him to try and cut down. As let's go for a quick lap around here with Phil Slow. Spring Roll cut down the gap to about 2.1 seconds now, as he is gaining on Chris slowly but surely. Gonna have to see what happens there. So let's do a quick rundown of your top 10. It's Phil Slow, then Spring Roll, Chris, Chad Broski, Gus Fring, Saul Goodman, Beijing Beef, Spencer Alfredo, Diogo Sebastião, and the Favre. The Favre is tied for biggest loser of this race, down 5 spots. Also down 5 spots is John Panini, as now down 6 spots, Rogero Espinel just lost a place to OxyClean. So it's not really gone too nice for Espinel, whereas his teammate has gained 6 spots, as now he will get by 17. But yeah, Sebastian's done the opposite and gained 6. Now he's looking for number 7. Currently hunting down Spencer Alfredo. Now trying to look to the inside, Diogo Sebastião just trying to catch up in points. Joined the season late, but has been pretty good so far. As now we go into pit stops, as Phil Slow has just came in. Spring Roll gonna stay out. We're gonna have to monitor pit stop times. Spring Roll and Chris stay out, as they'll put Phil Slow a lap down. Phil Slow 8.4 second pit stop. Gonna have to see how fast that is. Seems like Spring Roll's getting ready to come in, as he will. Chris will stay out another lap. So we're going to be monitoring pit stop times on the side. So you can see Jacques Croissant got 12.9. We can see what Spring Roll's doing right now. So now Chad Broski goes to the lead. A 7.1 second pit stop for Spring Roll. That's really good. We'll see if he'll come out ahead. As where is Phil Slow? Phil Slow is behind Spring Roll, but catching really quickly. Spring Roll just got out ahead as now he's reaching back up to speed. Where is Chris come out? Chris just exiting the pits. Chris may have just gone by with a 7.3 second pit stop. It went really well for that 0, but still picking up speed, and Spring Roll is right there. Out of the guys who pit, Gus Fring is actually right there. He may come out just right behind Chris. Phil Slow did not really have that great of a pit stop. Lost a lot of time. Still got some guys pitting, some guys still cycling through. As Chad Broski is actually out in front right now, but he's getting up to speed. As now Spring Roll's just gotten by Chris. And I'm not sure why, but now Chad Broski out in front of these guys. So this race definitely just got flipped on its head because of pit stops. We're seeing where these guys are cycling through. Phil Slow cutting through Chris now. As now Chad Broski just out in front, but he's being chased very heavily. 3 wide for second. As Spring Roll just trying to cut through. He goes ahead of Chad Broski into first. What about Phil Slow? Is Phil Slow gonna fight back? He never really had to deal with traffic this whole race. Nobody got faster than a 7.1. A lot of guys got 7.1 second pit stops. Slowest pit stop was a 12.9 for Jacques Croissant. He was already behind, so it doesn't really affect the race too much. As now Chris goes by Chad Broski. So a lot just happened. As Phil Slow's gonna need to try and gain that position back that he had gained earlier. He's already trying to fight back against Chad Broski, already up into third position, as he'll just go by. Now he's got to deal with Chris. There's definitely still some time left as he's gonna dive to the inside of Chris. They're gonna defend really hard, I assume. Phil Slow working that inside. Doing a really good job of it. Now Chris fighting back on the outside through turn 4. Just gets to the line ahead. This is the battle for second now. As now they have more lap traffic to deal with Mahavir Raghunathan already right there. Phil Slow had to back off, as now he'll go by Mahavir Raghunathan as well as Chris. These two I assume are gonna go at it for second, as Spring Roll is pulling away. So a very interesting pit stop sequence. As now everyone is good on fuel and tires for the rest of the race. As Chris is already starting to catch a Spring Roll. Back here, Beijing Beef falls back down to 7th. But he's going to be fighting back, I assume. So you can see the 3 cars here. See how close the gap is. They're about equally spread out. Chris is catching Spring Roll. And if they start battling, then Phil Slow will get a chance to try and catch up. Chris really just trying to extend the points lead, as now they've caught Spring Roll. Phil Slow about 4/10 back. Gonna have to see how this battle goes. But Chris right now is the faster car. The Spring Roll just leaves it open for Chris to send it up the inside, as now Chris to the lead. Just gonna try and extend that points lead. Spring Roll's gonna have to fight back harder than this if he wants to try and go get a win. This would be Chris's 4th win of the season, which would be 50% of the races have been won by Chris, and will definitely pull away in the championship, because Max Cold, the closest rival, is gonna actually be lapped soon, because he just hasn't moved out of 21st this whole race. There's now more lap traffic. This is May Borowski in 22nd. But Chris is gonna have to try and get by. He's defending pretty well. Just wants to try and stay on the lead lap. But Spring Roll is not helping himself out, as he is falling behind Chris. Is now Chad Broski gonna try and look for 3rd place. Catching up to Phil Slow. Just not getting too good of a grip in turn 3 on the inside, but turn 4 worked out really well for Chad Broski. Phil Slow gonna have to try and hold on to that outside to stay ahead. Now Chad Broski has definitely cleared Phil Slow, as Beijing Beef fighting for 5th against Saul Goodman, as he'll get the position as they go back through 1 and 2. Beijing Beef just ahead now, gonna try and fight Phil Slow for 4th if he can catch him, but Saul Goodman fighting. Three-way battle for 4th now. Phil Slow lost a lot of speed and is now just struggling to hold on. As now Beijing Beef will just get ahead. Just barely, as we're getting very far into this race. We only have a couple laps left. As now Phil Slow may lose a top 5 as well, as Saul Goodman, trying to get him out of the way, is up at the front. Spring Roll's got to try and catch Vet 0. It'd be beneficial towards the team standings and the overall standings, and Spring Roll would get his 1st win and the first win for the team this season. So he caught him very well through 3 and 4, as now he's going to try and go for it in 1 and 2. 11 laps to go. Gonna have to see how will all pan out. Chris just ahead again, but Spring Roll's gonna fight back. This could be a really close finish. 10 laps to go as Spring Roll just gets to the inside. As he has almost cleared Chris. Now he has. He's gonna have to try and go up to the outside to block. Laps counting down. Can Spring Roll hold on? Chris gonna fight back on the outside. The outside hasn't really been the preferred line all race. Let's see if Chris can try and use it to his advantage. Gotta try and do anything as we have 8 laps to go now. Time running out. Spring Roll just not being aggressive with his defending and keeps leaving the door open for the 0. We have about 7 laps to go. Now Chris gonna try and go to the inside. Spring Roll once again leaves the door open. And I don't know if Spring Roll can hold on the outside. We know he can work the inside very well, but I don't know about the outside. Side by side, 6 to go. Coming to 5 to go now. As now Spring Roll has cleared Chris. Chris is gonna have to try and use that draft. They're coming up on lap traffic just ahead. That is Missing Sock that they're coming up towards. Up to about half a second gap between first and second. Did Spring Roll do what he needed to? But there's still a lot of time left, 4 to go. Will Chris try and fight back? Spring Roll's gonna have to deal with the lap traffic. How is this gonna play out? Gonna lap Mahavir Gunafin once again. Got to see. He gets by the 17 really easily. Now what about the 42? That's gonna be more of his concern. 2 to go. Chris dropping back, struggling to get by the 17. It's looking good for Spring Roll. Spring Roll will lead us on the last lap. Spring Roll did not get off to a good start this season, but it has been going well the last couple races. This is going to be 4 podiums, I'm pretty sure, in a row. But now this time, it's on the top step of the podium, as Spring Roll will win here at Lucas Oil Raceway. He had to fight with a lot of cars this race, especially that 0, and got him just in time before the end of the race. Very nice work for Spring Roll. Chris, it's only good enough for second, and Chad Broski will finish third. Very nice racing all throughout. No major incidents. Spring Roll wins by about a second. That was very good. Let's take a look at your final results. Spring Roll wins by just over a second on Chris. Just had a lot of speed on that final lap. Chad Broski in third, Beijing Beef, Spring Roll's teammate in fourth, Saul Goodman in fifth, Phil Slow. First half was basically until the pit stops where he started falling off. It seemed like pitting in later was the better option, as behind him is Gus Fring, Spencer Alfredo, Diogo Sebastio, Karishima, Wine Silly Man, the father, Eliza Doe, Tetsu Tetsu, John Panini, David Bailois, Rogero Espinel, OxyClean. By the way, your biggest mover of today was Saul Goodman, up 9 spots. Biggest loser was the father, down 7 spots, but not too bad, as it was still a top 15. Then rounding out your field is Sussa Samogus, Max Cold, which is not good for his championship. That is definitely going to harm him. That is, I'm pretty sure, is his worst result so far. And that's Missing Sock, May Borowski, The Sun, Jacques Croissant, and Mahavir Raghunathan got lapped many times today. So that is all for this race. Next up, we head to another spot in Indianapolis, but this time it will be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Double points on the line. It's going to be good for the championship. It's going to be the first time we've raced there. So that track has just been added recently to AI, so I really hope you guys all watch that. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.